Hey guys, welcome back to Wise Kracks. I have Randy McKay and I on right now with our producer Robert, and John is temporarily on the sidelines. He'll be back in a second, though. First, I want to start off by saying my buddy Robert here, our producer, he was engaged and he went down the path, and now he is what's called ring poor. Randy, he bought a ring and now he's saying he's ring poor. Everything went into the ring. But yet, before we come on, Randy, he's talking about going to a Toronto Maple Leaf game. He was at the Buffalo Bills game the other night in the snow. I'm like, Robert, are you one of those guys that just cries all the time, but you have a ton of money, you just don't let us know? And
I'm lucky
here he
enough that
is.
people give me stuff. I just keep asking, they give it to me. I'm very lucky to have nice friends who, or a worker or employer who occasionally says, "Go to the game, Robert. I'll pay
All
for
right.
it."
All right. Because I know guys like you that sometimes, just start, you cry and then cry, but then you at home, you're secretly hoarding all the money like a
No,
miser.
no.
All right, let's go back to Randy. I want to know. Randy and I both don't know that picture that's behind him. He's in his hotel room downtown. I thought it was Jane Mansfield. He thinks it might be Marilyn Monroe. I'm going to stick with Jane Mansfield. And I don't know who's in the background there. There's a couple of guys that look like they're in the know there in the background. I don't know if the one sitting down. I don't know, but anyway, it could be Jane Mansfield, but it could be Marilyn Monroe too. Two absolute um, sex symbols from the early, middle 1900s that were absolutely stunning, stunning. Marilyn Monroe, I can't get enough of, Randy. I watch more stuff on her, every documentary. I am convinced that poor girl was so messed up, with the Kennedys and so messed up with just life. Married multiple times. Once in a while, Randy, I don't know if you notice, I've never put this on Twitter yet. I'll take a ride. Okay, so I go on Maryland Parkway and Desert Inn. Desert Inn and Maryland Parkway, 4 blocks up, right behind the Boulevard Mall, is a house that Marilyn Monroe once lived in. It's still there, 5,000
I don't
square
know
foot
that.
ranch, house she lived in. After she moved out of that house, Johnny Carson took it. So Johnny Carson lived in that house. And then after Johnny Carson, the great heavyweight champ Joe Louis lived in that house for a little bit. And yeah, pretty cool story. Joe actually died in that house. House is still there. It's on a little cul-de-sac block. I don't know why. I'm a Marilyn Monroe fan,
Yeah.
and I just think so much about her and how that poor kid. I've been to her grave multiple times, and it's just that's my little hobby anyway. I like going to famous where she's buried. Everyone's buried. I mean, literally, my guy Dean Martin, who I love, is buried right there. And there's so many famous graves in that cemetery. Rodney Dangerfield's buried right there. On his grave, I've said it before. It says, "There goes the neighborhood." I mean, I love Rodney.
Yeah.
Kirk Douglas there, Farrah Fawcett. I can go on and
Oh,
on and on. Carol O'Connor. So many Burt Lancaster, Don Knotts. So many famous people in this cemetery. It's a real small cemetery too, and it's just a cool thing. But Marilyn Monroe's, of course, is one of the most famous graves in the world, behind Jim Morrison and Pierre Lachaise in France. But so got a couple things to talk to you about. But by the way, can we say I don't even know why are you in town, Randy? Except with that lucky Masters hat, has it worked yet?
yeah, it worked pretty well last weekend for the anybody that followed the picks, of course.
Oh,
No jackpots yet this
okay.
trip. Of
Five
not
and
speak
zero,
of.
5-0 last week's show. Now the fifth one, I'll call it 4.5-0 because the fifth one has to be part of an open teaser, which maybe you'll have someone today to fill the end of it with. But even a couple weeks ago, you went 3-0. No one said anything. Crickets. And then, but if you get a loser in there, if you have a losing weekend, 0-3, they're coming after you. So you have a winning season here on our show, and you're having a good season outside of these even picks. Though you're winning, right? You're having a good football. I should say sports betting.
Yeah, the basketball's starting off a little slow though. We're
Okay,
losing some units to start in NBA and college, but yeah, the pro and college football went decent. The
good.
contest
Still going.
got a shot, so everything's going well. And I'll make sure I take a picture of that behind me and find out. I'm sure I can find out who exactly is in that photo here at
Yeah,
the Gate
that's a
Suite.
That's a cool photo. So, Randy, I have a couple casino things I can go over with you. One, I was in a local casino and they're announcing winners. Now that you've seen this happen in the past, it's happened in a lot of casinos. We just had a $1,200 jackpot. We just had a $2,000 Keno jackpot. We just had a $5,000 whatever jackpot. Now, it just made me think. I was in a local casino. You and I have been there together. We're not going to mention no names, but it's not the best area. So these places like along Boulder Highway, even the other spots, some of the local places, but we get deals in them. They buy business, so we play in them. But I thought about the dangers behind this. I don't like when they announce that I just hit an $8,000 royal. Now they don't say the customer's name or anything, but they say we just paid an $8,000 jackpot. Now 8,000 or 4,000, whatever it may be. There's a lot of desperados here. We're in a town that has desperados anyway, never mind the local casino areas. I don't like that rule, Randy. I've never asked you about that. Does it bother you? Does it affect you, or do you not even notice it?
Yeah, that can be a little scary, like you mentioned. It hasn't bothered me in the past, and thankfully they don't say your name. So yeah, that doesn't scare me. Usually in places I've been to, a little bigger spots too. So if
Okay.
they do that, I'm not really worried about. This
Right.
one casino I go to up north, and in fact, it's right on the Canadian border, and they do that, but that's, there ain't anybody that's going to do anything to there. So yeah, it all comes down to safety, and some of these, casinos in Boulder Highway and such, maybe
Yeah.
they should do that.
And you know what? Being a gun owner now, I have multiple guns, but being a gun owner, you can't carry it in the casino. However, I can put it in my car, but you shouldn't put it like in the middle of the dashboard or somewhere where obviously no one. You're really supposed to lock the gun up inside the dash and stuff. But it just made me think. I don't even know if I'd have enough time to get the gun out. You know what I mean? Not that. And plus, you want to be in a situation like this. I don't want to shoot anybody. It's just not a situation you want to be in. But we're kind of getting into some better times where we wouldn't automatically be guilty until we're innocent. I think we're going back to some better times. We'll see. But still, I wouldn't even want to be put in that situation. I don't carry in the casino. And I won't, I don't even carry like into the Walmart or something like that. My wife's like, I can't even believe you have this gun all the time with you. Well, I have a carrying permit now. So I have a concealed weapons permit, actually. I still don't even do it. But I do have it nearby. And even when I got out of the casino, I could just open that door. But I just don't like to even think that way until I see this rash of some things that people were doing some things lately. On the strip, Randy, did you hear what happened with the two Uber drivers? The Uber guy was driving crazy, and the other one, they were having a road rage fit. And the one Uber driver got it. Both, by the way, both had passengers, I'm told. Gets out of the car, goes up to the other car with his gun. It just so happens that Uber driver had a gun too, and she killed him ahead of time, right there in front of passengers. I mean, let me just tell you something too. And John just joined us. John, can you hear us? You can hear us well, right? And
yeah.
John, you could probably even. We live. Randy doesn't. Randy lives up in the foothills somewhere in a very secure, safe place, clear-headed all. We live in a town where there's so much misplaced rage. There's so much aggravation and road rage, and people are ready to snap in 1 second. I've noticed it a lot more during the holiday season too. First of all, I've been all over this country and I've never seen worse drivers than Las Vegas. Maybe 95 South in Florida, going towards like Fort Lauderdale and Miami. But I'll tell you, for a big perspective, a big area, Las Vegas has the worst drivers in the world. They're from everywhere. My friend, Captain of Police, he's the one that advised me on different guns to buy and stuff. He's funny. He said, Bill, just get a shotgun. If you hear any noises, click the shotgun in the house. They'll be scared of that. But anyway, he told me that Spring Mountain Road was the most deadliest road in Las Vegas, and it shocked me. I'm like, Spring Mountain? You're kidding me. Like where Chinatown is? He goes, that's the worst area for drivers in Las Vegas. So that's something to know. There's been a lot of killings there by accident. I know there was a big one a couple of years ago where a car went off the road to a bus stop and killed everyone, killed like 7 people. We try to sweep these things under the rug. I even went to dinner with someone recently, and what did he said to me? He said, there was a fire here back in the early 80s at the MGM that killed 80 some people. And I was like, they never talk about that. 80 some people. How can a building in the 80s not have fire codes and sprinklers, and a lot of people died. It's just, and of course the bad shooting at Mandalay Bay. Vegas doesn't want to talk about any of this kind of stuff. And I understand.
Or the jumpers, the people that jump.
The jumpers you're never going to hear about. The media is controlled by the newspapers here. Newspapers are owned by the casinos. Media outlets are owned by, they have the casinos control town. It's that simple. And there's jumpers all the time. Especially around holiday time. I mean, I hope there is not one more. I'm just saying there are all the time.
Did you guys, I know I came on late. Did you talk about the South Point the other day?
I was going to it's one of my subjects.
Okay, go ahead.
Good.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
that's good.
Okay.
No, but this first one that we were talking about was announcing the winners, John, in the casino. So like right there, you're in Durango. They don't do it in Durango. $10,000 jackpot was just paid. People are looking around. Where? So you can have some like bad people just looking for that, walking outside. Most people park in the garage in local casinos, and we were just talking about the dangers of that and how we don't like. We'd rather not have that announced. So
you really need to just assume everybody's got a gun at this point, especially when you're in traffic. It's so silly to get out of your car in traffic. And I think this guy even had a kid in his car with him, like a 6-year-old. Something. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he did. But
and John, you were one of the first people that talked me into getting a gun years ago. Now I was saying that, like, I mean, I do have my gun with me, and I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes I totally forget. Walk into the casino with the gun, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh my god, I got my gun on me," because I keep it in my bag. So I'm like, "Oh,
which
shit.
Isn't the end of the day. You're not breaking a law.
You're not technically breaking a very good job. Very good to bring this up, because I've had situations where I brought it in. And I said, no one's gonna know anyway. But I want to ask you, John. I'm not asking you if you have it now, because we don't want no one to know that at the casino you're filming it. But you do keep it in the car with you.
100%.
100%. I knew you did. Yeah, me too.
100%. You have to. It's just, and a lot of people will say things like, "Oh, why are you so paranoid?" And it's like,
ditto.
If I wear my seatbelt, I'm not paranoid, right? I wear a seatbelt to protect myself just in case I get in an accident. Now, some people argue, well, it's the law. Okay, fine, whatever. But you're wearing it as a protection. You have insurance as a just in case, right? You have homeowners insurance. You have in LA and in California, you have earthquake insurance. You're not paranoid. It's just you're putting your best foot forward, and that's all the gun is. The gun is something that you have just in case. Hopefully, you never have to use it. For most, you're never going to have to use it.
That's right.
I know if I heard glass shatter at 3 o'clock in the morning at my house, or I heard, my alarm going off. Sure, my adrenaline's going to be pumping, but I don't feel helpless. I feel sorry for whoever just came in, because we probably are at worst, we're on a level playing field.
You know what?
At worst, we're on a level playing field.
You're right.
Because 911, 911's too late, man.
Too late.
911's too late.
I have one right next to me at all times when I'm in the house and sleeping, and I have 3 located around the place. So
Randy has hand grenades at home. I don't know if he's told you this, but Randy's got hand grenades. He's not messing around.
John, I can't believe you said that.
He's ready to pull the pin.
I can't believe you said that. Someone wanted money. He would give him the money, but he's not giving him that Masters hat. The hat's not. He's not giving. You can have the money. You're not getting the hat that I've won 6 figures with. But now let's go on to John. That was one of my subjects on my phone. I had notes.
Yeah,
I seen that on Twitter. I tweeted it out. They didn't know. I didn't know the situation. I knew it was barricaded around the South Point. I seen the barricades, and I put, "Well, this is what happens when the hot dog cart runs out of the hot dogs." They go off. But unfortunately, it's a sad thing, and I'm sorry. Someone was shot and killed in one of the rooms, and I guess one of the hotel
charged
rooms.
at them. Charged at them. Shotgun, holding a shotgun
with a shotgun. With a shotgun.
Not a good idea.
Yeah, and I'm really upset it happened at the South Point. It's one of my casinos that I love, and that's one of my joints. This can happen anywhere. We talked about things that have happened. The terrible shooting at the Country Music Festival, and we talked about Randy actually seen this guy already playing video poker. He was a high limit video poker player, but no one ever talks about it again. Like that guy could have been just a DJ and gambler who was just frustrated and took it out. And boy, I tell you what, I'm going to do the sign of the cross again here. I hope that never happens at a casino again, but it easily could. If you give $20 to someone, they're taking every bag you have upstairs. No one's looking at the bags, or no one's, but even so, even the casino, you don't want to intimidate the guest and have metal detectors. I was in Detroit. Randy, have you been to those casinos? You have to go through metal detectors.
Oh, really?
To get in the casinos in Detroit. I don't like that. It makes me think about something. Like, it doesn't make me feel at ease. Like, oh, I'm glad they do that. It makes me think, this area is that bad that they have metal detectors? That's what I think. So you wouldn't want to have a situation where you're walking through the casinos in Vegas and going on the beautiful strip casino and have a metal detector. It just makes you think.
It's been over 10 years at least since I've been to Detroit to those motor.
You're not missing anything.
And some of those, and Windsor across the river.
Yeah, Windsor across the river. What were you saying, John?
Bill, you brought up the October 1 shooting, and I just wanted to take that as an opportunity to promote our good friend Brian Hopkins. Brian Hopkins. Yeah. He will be performing with Jimmy Allen, country star, on the Strip this Saturday. Oh. Christmas on the Strip. It's Brian is a survivor and was a hero from that October 1 shooting. He helped lead literally dozens of people to safety. And it's going to be the first show back at that exact location this Saturday, Christmas on the Strip. You can go to christmasonthestrip.com. They're putting a new property there. And so Brian, they reached out to Brian to see if he wanted to perform there. I think he felt, very emotional about it, whatever. But, he felt he helped, he performed post October 1 that whole week all around town and even up in San Francisco to raise money for the survivors. And so he kind of felt, he wanted to be the person.
God, it's in the same location?
Yes. They're putting a new venue there. And yeah. So I know it's it's a very emotional thing for many, and obviously very close to his heart. And so I'll be there. I don't know if you're in town Saturday night, but I'm gonna go and support Brian and see him perform.
And let me ask you this, John, too. After our podcast, I'm going downtown to meet Randy for dinner. I should ask you if you wanted to go. We're going around 4:30. Okay, so since you're out and about,
I'm in.
Yeah. All right. So we're doing that. And I got to tell you something, Randy. Listen, I love Derek Stevens, friend of the show, friend of myself, friend of John. I've been going there for the steakhouse. Fantastic. Barry's is great. I went for a burger there once. They have a restaurant. I thought the burger was good. I've never been to, so I'll tell you, I go to the deli, which I thought the deli was great at the beginning. I don't think the deli is as good as it was. In my own opinion, I don't think they're keeping a good eye on the deli like they used to. And the people that were nice that ran it and stuff. I've never been to the Asian restaurant. Now, have you been there, Randy?
Every trip, it's probably the best restaurant he has.
Everyone told me how good this restaurant was. So, John, yes,
I'm in.
Everyone has told me. Eight. Is it called 8 East? Is that it?
8 East, yes.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you there in a little bit.
Chain before Derek moved him in here, so he had been scoping him out a little bit before.
Oh wow! Oh, I look forward to it. So let me just tell you something that Derek has down there. I don't know if you ever noticed, John, being down in Circa, or better yet, in any of Derek's properties. If there's a voting for cleanest bathrooms, Derek has them. He's got it. Every time you go into a bathroom, there is an attendant in there doing something. It's not like some of the properties around town where they're on their phones and they're looking for tips. But that's what a lot of the attendants do. They're just looking for tips. They take 2 paper towels out of the paper towel holder. Like, I couldn't have done that. Like, I could have done that on my own. Like, but they take, and I don't mind tipping it. I like tipping the guys. The guys at the Wynn, I always tip. The guys down at Circa, I always tip. I don't mind them tipping them guys. That's a really nasty job they have. I mean, it really is. So I noticed that the bathrooms there are really, really clean, though. Randy, do you notice that, how clean the bathrooms are at Derek's places?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of his trademarks, is to keep the casinos up to snuff. And unlike the local place that we go to that isn't so
Oh,
clean.
I've never mentioned that to you. The place we go to that we get our play, that's got to be the bottom one. I would think that's the worst. I'm afraid to go into the bathrooms. I'm actually afraid to go in. Like, thinking about going on the side of the building instead. So I put up a tweet, washing your hands. Put that up on Twitter about why I did. Gil Alexander and I on the VSiN show I do. We talked about washing your hands in gambling atmospheres. Now, I got to ask, because John's a poker player. I put in the casinos 60 to 70% wash their hands. In poker rooms, up to 50%, depending on the situation. In other words, if it's a tournament, I may have to go lower than 50% because they want to get back to the hand. They're peeing, pulling their junk out, and running back out. And guess what they're doing? Touching your chips. So I'm just telling John, I heard rumor that you might be in the lower half. Is that right?
No, it's funny. During World Series this year, you mentioned this last summer.
Of course.
And I wanted to take a video at WSOP so bad from the bathroom, but I didn't want to get in trouble of all the guys that are at the urinal. And I get it. Like you said, they're trying to get back to the table as fast as possible because sometimes they're doing it when they're not on the break. And even when you're on the break, it's the end of the break because you ate and there's not enough time and there's traffic, people traffic through the hallway. So I get it, but you got to do it. And I won't even, I'm so sensitive to that whole dynamic. Like if I order food at the poker table, I will eat with my right hand and I look at my cards with my left hand. I won't touch the cards with my hand that's been, because I also don't want to grease up the cards. Like I don't, I'm
very good.
Who
wants to have someone eating chicken wings and touching their cards? And
right. It's crazy.
Randy will tell you this though. There's some casinos, and there was a poker room in California, Commerce poker room in California. They pull the tables right next to it. They're eating chicken wings and folding.
Bill, not only do they eat the wings, they will lick their fingers. I'll see them go to the napkin, but still, you just licked your fingers. I get it. You went to the napkin, but dude.
Randy will tell you though, even the slot machines in those California regular casinos, they pull the tray up and eat at the slot machines. It's just something that's really, really disgusting. I just wanted to mention that. I put that tweet up during the week. Also, T-Bone, our buddy T-Bone. I have to talk about him. Oh, do you know? I'm glad you know who he is.
I met him with you. I think you introduced me to him at Red Rock.
I've only met him a couple of times, like twice, maybe three times. So T-Bone is one of the last of the Mohicans cartoon characters that we have.
Yeah.
The characters are dying out, So when you could think like Nicky Eyes and, Bobby the Doctor, this guy, all the nicknames, and T-Bone is a Vegas T-Bone, those kind of characters are dying out. Now, why I say character, who leaves your slot machine to go get a drink with $2,000 in it? Let me leave that here. I'm going to get a drink. I'll be back. No one's going to touch it. T-Bone leaves the slot machine with $1,975 in it and says, well, I'm just getting a drink. Let me play the hand and not complete the hand. This way, no one will touch this. Of course, he goes to get a drink, finds something in a bar, comes back. It's gone. The money's gone. This is in Colorado, it's not in Vegas, but it's in Colorado.
Oh my God.
Tracks down the guy. They tracked down the guy at the cage cashing this in, and they did get back the money. Am I right, Randy?
Oh, wow.
He was very lucky. At this particular spot is where a 1,200 or over ticket, you have to go to the cage to cash. You can't do it in a machine. So he got lucky, and the guy, of course, had to go to the cashier cage, and he yelled, he goes, "That's my ticket." He's trying to cash, and the guy fled out of there.
And he ran out of the place with the ticket? Or he left the ticket?
Without the ticket.
Wow.
So he got the money back. Him about a half hour later.
So T-Bone on Twitter goes and puts a video. He's got a couple in him. But he went after, well, this effing guy, and I got him, and he's a character. And you want to know something? I like him. And you want to know something else, John and Randy? You're not going to believe this. Once in a while I think inebriated, he'll go after me.
No.
Wait a minute, T-Bone, time out. Crack from Vegas. We went to lunch together a couple times. Like what? Like if I say something, not that we can't agree to disagree, but and I'll call up Randy. This was a couple of years ago. I said, Randy, T-Bone just like went after me. I was like, and he's like, well, he'll do that. Maybe he might be drinking, but yet then he'll come to Vegas and hang out. So you didn't see did you see the video, John, or no?
I didn't, but you just reminded me. I don't know if I sent you. I was trying to find it just now, but I couldn't find it. Did you see the video of a guy that hits a jackpot at slot? I think it was here in Vegas. He walked away from the machine because, its card is in it and he knows he's on camera or whatever. He walks away from the machine. When he comes back, there's a guy sitting at the machine and the lady is about to pay him. And he says, oh, wow, man. So the guy who really hit the jackpot, he says to the guy that's now sitting in the chair, "Oh man, how much did you win?" And the guy tells him something. He's like, "No, you won. It's 1,200 or whatever it was. That's you won." And the guy's like, "Wow, that's great." And then the guy goes, "Oh, there's one problem though. That's my jackpot. That's my jackpot."
Oh man!
And, like the guy was trying to steal the jackpot, and the lady was like, "Wait, that's yours?" He's like, "Yes, it's mine. That's my card in the machine." It's crazy what people do.
Wow.
Yeah,
no.
you can go to jail for that, the guy that's trying to claim that. So
don't they gotta know you're on camera. You're not gonna like they look, right? I mean, they're not gonna
that's
pay
called
out
claiming.
Blindly.
What's it called, Randy?
Called?
Claiming, just trying to claim
Yeah.
somebody else's win or ticket, or just like the other instance where the guy was trying to take the ticket.
I'm gonna promote Vegas T-Bone. At Vegas T-Bone, you could see him here. This is a $10 machine. He put $10 in and won 3,600. He's an advantage slot player. Plays the advantage machines. I like how he has taken my word. The sour rooters, I love that. He uses that. Well, this sour rooter come up to the machine. It's kind of funny when he does that stuff. But yeah, he had this whole video here where he put. I loved it, going after the slot people. This guy that stole his voucher ran out and he got his money back. So that was really good. One of the other videos that I put up this week, which you guys had to see this. It's not just me. I retweeted John Mahaffey's video, John Mahaffey, who puts up some great stuff too, at John_Mahaffey. He puts up some great Vegas videos. So I just put UMMM. He put up this video. I don't understand how the strip can look like this in front of the Mirage. I mean, how can all this garbage, it looks like a homeless shelter. Just look at how can the Hard Rock allow this? How can, this is the strip. You have to walk to get the strip. This is what you're looking at. I mean, I'll just tell you right now, Joe Lupo, former sportsbook guy who, I've tried to have a couple of conversations. Joe's one that doesn't like to answer any questions. He may get, he don't want to make a decision or anything. And he's the president of the casinos. Figure that out. Joe used to be in the sportsbook end of it at the Stardust. I don't know how Joe, hopefully he sees this from somebody and maybe sees that from, I don't know how they can allow that in front of the strip. This is a beautiful property. We're all looking forward. We're all supportive of the Hard Rock coming here. We can't wait. We love the brand. The casinos in Florida are impeccable. I love going to them. So, two of the most successful casinos in the United States. I just can't believe what they're planning here and the billions of dollars they're going to spend. That's the strip. Have you seen that, Randy or John?
Yeah, I saw John, the guy that tweeted at John Mahaffey. I saw his tweet there, and I was pretty disgusted because that was one of the spots where I like to go, was the Mirage. That was one of my go-to places back in the day, even up till it closed. So yeah, very disappointing.
Very disappointing. Well, I'll give you something else I've seen. We have people that beg at every corner here. Every Walmart, every Walgreens. You pull up to Walgreens, you're going to get asked for money. I don't care if you're in the best section of town or the worst section of town. Someone's asking you for money. I don't mind all these things. I don't mind helping people. I mean, some things are pretty scary. You'll be walking and then someone will just roll out of a bush and whoa, there's some scary people in town. Now, listen, I know it's towns across America now. I understand. And we have a lot of mental illness. We have a lot of homeless. We have a lot of veterans These guys fought for us, fought for the country, fought in wars, have PTSD. It's really sad, and I do try to help, especially veterans. And I don't like when I see John and I are animal lovers. We see people with dogs, or it's freezing cold out. You almost want to say, "Give me the dog," and take the dog. But then they'll just go grab another dog tomorrow off the street and put them there begging. You want to buy the dog off them because the dog's suffering. But tend to give more when they see an animal. Beginning to see something here. Not beginning. I've seen things here that I don't like. I see people asking for money with a funeral sign. Have you seen this, John?
No.
Funeral. Oh, it happened. I've seen it 3 or 4. Here's how much it's happened. So I've seen this same person twice. I'm like, wait a minute. I've seen that guy before. Now I take a photo of his funeral sign. I don't want to show it. God forbid it is someone's real funeral, probably. But now, 6 months later, I see the person at a different location. I'm like, wait a minute. I know this. I've seen this guy. That's the funeral guy. I tell my wife, listen, there's a funeral guy begging right on a major street here in town, literally a couple blocks off the strip on Sahara. I'll tell you that much. And they're using the same photos of the funeral. Like, up your game, man. You're going to be a hustler. You want to be a street hustler. Up your game. Don't use the same photo. It's just, but it's sad because, of course, if you're trying to raise money for a funeral, I'd love to help out a family trying to raise money for a funeral. Really legitimately don't have the money. I have no problem giving you couple $100. How about that? But I just don't like that. This is a total con. Listen, there's cons everywhere. I get it. But I just didn't know if either one of you guys have seen these funeral. There's 3 different corners I know of. The funeral people are hawking the signs.
I haven't seen that, but when I lived downtown in LA, I was right across the street from Ralph's, which is like Smith's out here.
Yep.
And I'm inside the Ralph's, and I'm over in the bakery section, and a guy comes up to me, a guy inside Ralph's comes up to me and says, "Hey man, could you spot me something? It's my daughter's birthday. I'm trying to get her a cake." And he didn't look homeless to me, he just, so I felt bad. I gave him $20. I said, "Here, man, get your daughter cake." Literally, it's so funny you said that. 2 weeks later, I come out of Ralph's, and that same guy is outside Ralph's, and he tells me the same thing. "Hey, man, can I get some money? I'm trying to get my daughter a birthday cake." And I said, "Oh, yeah?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "How many kids do you have?" He goes, "Just one daughter." I go, "Oh, well, that's weird because it was her birthday 2 weeks ago."
Terrible.
Like, what are you doing?
Up your game, guys. Up your game. Do something. Don't be stupid. I mean, I don't like to see this kind of thing. And, there are people that beg with their kids here too. You mentioned Smith's. I seen a with her daughter, beautiful daughter, a little dress outside. I literally called my wife on iPhone, the photo. What is that called? Vision photo, whatever it is. FaceTime. You could see I use it that much. FaceTime. I said, "Do you believe this? This lady's here begging with her kid. This is multiple times now at Smith's." I said, I wouldn't subject your children to this. I know it's easy. She probably gets a lot more money with her little beautiful daughter out there in a dress. But the daughter's standing waving at people. Just think about the guilt people feel. And I don't even know. Let me just say something. This could be a business, just a business, because they could be making more money doing that than working any job.
I think it's exactly what it is, but I'm still a sucker for it.
I'm a sucker.
I still give
little kids and animals.
What if we're wrong, right? And it's really, whatever. It is what it is. I don't know.
Last thing I'll say before we get into Randy's picks, I went to Brooklyn's Best Pizza downtown. Have you been? You got either one of you guys been there?
I've been to that. When you say downtown, like on Industrial.
Yes. It's like Brooklyn's
near the
Best
Arts District. Near
the Arts District.
Yes.
Let me tell you, the guy that runs it, I didn't even realize it was part of Dom DeMarco's, Albert, who owns Dom DeMarco's. It just didn't set with me. I didn't realize how. So the guy that runs it, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, sir. He's such a good guy, warm-hearted guy. He's worked all around. He's originally from Spumoni Gardens, LMB Spumoni Gardens, which I love in Brooklyn. And they make some unbelievable pizzas downtown there. I am really happy with Brooklyn's Best. I was there the other night, and I was like, how come no one talks about this? The Sicilian was really good for this town.
Yeah, I've been there.
You've been there. Okay. That's just something I want to give those guys a shout out. And they're in a good location. they'll even deliver to Circa because the guy said, we deliver to Circa. I said, really? And Circa's right down the block there a little bit, but yeah. So
there's one pretty close to Durango here. There's one.
I
on
haven't
Fort
been
Apache.
there. I haven't been to the one on Fort Apache, but
Yeah.
So shout out to those guys. Randy was 4.5-0 last week, John. He won all his games and even his part of his teaser. So we're going to get Randy's picks right now. I'm going to go to my screen, my Spank Odds screen, and get some odds here.
Did you say 4.5-0?
Well, he gave out 5 games. He was 5-0, but one of them was one part of a teaser, which, by the way, would have won outright anyway. It was Seattle. So give me.
So again, the proper way to say that is Randy missed out on a lot of money once again.
again,
by not betting a parlay.
John's got a point, maybe. I don't know.
John, did you at least push on Detroit, or did you lay 3.5?
So one thing I forgot to mention, because I'm going to make sure I mention this from now on. When I speak of who I'm picking, I'm always money line.
Okay.
So we
like
both won.
spreads.
All 3 of us won. Yeah.
Yes. The Lions were victorious.
Good.
I was worried that you bet the 3.5. I'm going, I text Crack. I go, he's telling me John didn't do that.
No, I don't like the spreads. It's too aggravating.
Randy,
I know
a great
you guys
season.
would strongly disagree with that, though, right? You'd never bet on a minus 240 team ever.
There's ways you could bet on those teams, John. Randy would probably agree. If you have multiple outs and can find the lowest money line, I have no problem with that. But just to walk into a casino like Stations, let's look at the Monday night line here. Money line. All right, here. You walk into a casino like Stations, and you say, "Oh, I'm going to bet the Army Navy game this weekend. Let me bet the money line," and just go over there and just bet the minus 260. Well, you could bet minus 245, minus 250 at Circa. DraftKings minus 250, minus 245 again at Heritage, which is our sponsor. So you could literally bet this at so many other places at a better line. And maybe if you even want to put some of these together in a parlay, I may not have a bad problem with it. If you're putting the lowest money lines at the same shop, maybe they have the best 2 money lines in town. But I don't even recommend doing that. But if you are betting money lines, as long as you have multiple outs, I'm okay with that. So, and now that I did, because it reminded me, it's amazing that on this particular game I picked Army and Navy, the lowest money line being at Heritage, minus 245 compared to other places like the place John's at, minus 260. HeritageSports.eu, our sponsor. And also, I was looking at their plethora of bonuses right now they have. Not only that, they've been in business almost 30 years. They've been around a long, long time. Got to give it to them for being all these years to weather the storm of so many sports books. Right now, they have a 20% cash sign-up bonus right there, as you can see. 20% cash sign-up bonus. With a reduced juice shop, I actually questioned them on this because I wanted to make sure I was reading right. Reduced juice, it's minus 108 instead of minus 110. So you want to bet the Rams game, you're laying $1.08. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a 20% discount already on your laying 110. So you're laying 108. And the cash back, like I said, they also have, I'm going to call it the best value in sports betting right now. Just the way they have they pick one game a month where you can get out of your bet at halftime. So if you don't like the way the game's going, you can get out of your bet at halftime. They have a Bitcoin insurance. They have multiple things like that. HeritageSports.eu, holiday cashback, 108 juice. I don't know what else there is to say, but go to Bitcoin insurance. I'm looking into that even more too. So if you deposit by Bitcoin, there is some type of insurance there too that they have. There's a lot of different promotions. That 20%, I think it just started. I didn't see it last week there. So HeritageSports.eu, been around a long time. All right, Randy, go ahead. Give us what you got. I'll look at the current lines. Tell us the games first so I can put that out in a tweet.
Pittsburgh Steelers +5 or better.
Perfect. They're 5. There's 5. Plenty of 5s around town.
Next game, Detroit Lions -2. John's team.
Detroit South Point win Stations, all -2. Next.
Seattle Seahawks +3.
Yes. How many weeks in a row are we on this team together? Seattle Seahawks +3 minus $1.16 at Westgate, +3 minus $1.20 right where John is at Stations. +3 -15 at BetMGM. All right. Anything else, or are we completing your?
No, I didn't use Carolina this week. This is the first time favored in straight games.
Oh, we
I
may have
kind of
lost
liked
them.
them.
Hold on, Randy.
That
Did you
number
say
got
Carolina? Did you say
Yeah.
Carolina? Okay.
And they've covered 5 straight. So
Wow. So Carolina, are you going the money line, or are you laying the 2.5 minus juice?
no, I haven't bet it yet.
Oh, okay.
It would only be a lean, but I was just going to bring that up since we've been hot with Carolina.
Okay. Carolina. So there they are. Now let's get into the reasons why. Start right out with your first pick that I agree with, by the way, Pittsburgh plus the points.
Yeah, this is a look ahead spot for both teams. You know, Pittsburgh's got to play Baltimore next week in a big game, but Philly also has got to play Washington, which will be finally probably clinch the division for them. You know, what I like about the Steelers team, even though they don't have their star wide receiver in this game, they play turnover-free football. You know, they don't turn the ball over. Their running game is better than it has been, and they've had a big improvement with Russ Wilson at quarterback. So I like this. This Eagle team is not going to be able to run the ball as well against this Pittsburgh Steeler game. We even seen Carolina hold down the Eagles last week, almost get the outright victory. And that would have been a big hit for the casino owner here, of course. But also seen this total move down. And when I see a total move down, I would have liked to have the side and total correlated here, but I'll just take the with the Steelers rather than a side and a total play here. The Pittsburgh Steelers +5 for me.
+5.5 minus $1.08 here at Westgate in town. So just people to know. Next game, did you say Detroit over Buffalo?
Yep.
All right, -2. Why do you like them?
Okay, this is the third home game for the Detroit Lions. They haven't covered in one yet. They didn't cover. They won both. They didn't cover against the Bears on Thanksgiving, and we got the cover last week against Green Bay. But we've seen a lot of problems here with this Bills defense. Like I said last week, the Rams will have success running the ball down their throat. Now the Bills have to go to Detroit, more rest for Detroit. This Detroit offensive line is like the number one offensive line in all of football, and that's what I look for, offensive line and defensive line matchups. You know, so Penny Sewell and company, I think, will be able to run the ball, control the clock. You know, the Bills quarterback, Josh Allen, MVP, competition. He's number one probably for the MVP, but he can be turnover prone, putting in bad spots. We didn't see it last week. They made a big, valiant comeback against the Rams, fell short, but a lot of those deficiencies that Detroit has on defense, they have a lot of hurt players, but still, I think Detroit will get the cover here and the win. So Detroit Lions -2.
Okay. Seattle, we're both on. I sent that out on Monday. I bet it actually a couple times. Seattle +3 minus $1.20. And there's like 4 different casinos in town here. Like I said, BetMGM +3 -15. Why do you like Seattle over Green Bay and over another syndicate that's on Green Bay?
Yeah, this is going to be a rain game too. So check weather reports this week. There might be some other spots where weather could be bad. Maybe in Cleveland, I was maybe looking at the over on the total there, but the weather could be a little shaky there. The weather is supposed to be a rain game here. This Seattle defense, Green Bay does have a little bit of extra rest here, but they got banged up in that Detroit game. So, but the Seattle defense really improving under first-year head coach McDonald, getting used to his system coming over from Baltimore. And they shut down some pretty good offenses there, the 49ers. And then last week they shut down Arizona. So they shouldn't be allowing any running attack here for the Green Bay Packers. And hopefully they make Jordan Love, who's been turnover prone, throw the ball here. So I like this spot. Also, Seattle's offensive line was hurt most of the season. Now they're getting healthy again. They're able to run the ball and control the clock on teams. And that's what I like here in the matchup is the offensive and defensive line. Like I talked previously, I think Seattle has a big matchup advantage here, and getting a plus price at home is a good spot.
And can we close out our Seattle teaser? We could put Seattle plus 8.5 in a teaser here to close out our last week's teaser. That sound good, Randy?
Yeah, you can either do that or the Rams maybe up to 8.5
Ooh,
if you want
let's
to
see
take
that.
them straight. But they went to 3 today.
We went to 3 today. Yeah.
Or there's another one, Dallas there, maybe against Carolina. I think Carolina, of course, is overpriced now being a favorite, but that maybe too is
Okay.
up to 3. So
Yep. All
so
right,
them are
cool.
the
Anything
games I
else, or
like
that's
so
it?
far.
We
I
got-
was
I got-
curious.
Wait, I got one left.
Oh.
Of course, our FCS play.
Oh, and by the way, we won our FCS play. Let's get to the FCS. Go ahead. What do you got?
We made Sports Center bad beats with our FCS Montana
Oh my God.
Leagues last week.
Yeah.
Coach calling timeout to get, I don't know why he's calling timeout, but to get motivation for next year to score that backdoor TD for us. So
The last play of the game, right?
second to last. Yeah.
Second to last. Okay. That's right. They ran. All right. So do you have something for left, or you're saying that you're just giving a shout out?
No, I got California Davis here getting +6 against the South Dakota Coyotes. This game's played in Vermilion, South Dakota, in the Dakota Dome, in a very old building. But this South Dakota team got behind Tarleton State, but has a very good running attack. They're going to struggle to run the ball against this UC Davis team, who got me the money earlier against California in a FCS, FBS matchups that I look into. This team's been very strong the last few years, and they should have no problem going in there and maybe even getting the outright victory over South Dakota.
UC Davis +6.5. Is that what you said?
Yeah, there was a 6 at DraftKings I saw when I came on.
Oh, okay. 6.5 Westgate, 6.5 South Point Wind Stations, 6.5 we're using here. And BetMGM Heritage has +6.5 -05, by the way. So UC Davis +6.5, our extra play. All right, good. We're going pretty long here. John, you got anything else to say? Are you against Randy on anything?
No, I'm actually I'm changing my strategy now. I'm taking all of Randy's picks every week from here on out as a parlay.
No.
Let's go.
Listen, when you guys put these picks in, John, just make sure you have this thing of garlic. Make sure you're burning your candles and initiating yourself. And all right. Well,
I haven't heard anything you guys talk about Circa Survivor. Is there anyone still alive?
I bought into a team. I bought into a team that me and you know Frankie, John. We bought into a team that we have Pittsburgh. We had Pittsburgh went through, and everyone else amazingly luckily got through. They had Cincinnati. 3 people had on Monday night. You see how lucky that was. They had.
So how many are?
11 on Philadelphia. 11 people at Philadelphia. Carolina guy dropped the ball at the end zone with 30 seconds left. I mean, there's so many. I think 4 people had the Jets. Not Jets. Had Miami versus the Jets. They could have easily lost that in overtime. 3 people had New Orleans over the Giants. Giants were going to line up to kick a field goal at the end. I mean, everyone lucked through this week. There's 51 of us going 50. In.
Wow.
It looked like this was going to be over by Christmas. Now it looks like it's going to be a multi-way chop, I would say, by at least a dozen people. So,
you speak of funny tweets. Did you see Jeff Benson's tweet about the receiver from Carolina? I think his name is Leggett. Dropped the ball there, and now he's 86 from Circa Casinos.
Oh, he's got to not be allowed in. That cost Circa 400 and some thousand instead of winning $3 million. And trust me, Randy, I don't know if you noticed this, because I do my Fox show on the weekends. I was following that money line. Circa was begging for Carolina money. They went from literally +690, which was 40 cents better anywhere in the country, to +750, +800, +850 at game time. They were begging for Carolina money. They almost got off the hook here and really won a lot of money. But I give that credit to those guys over there. Derek Stevens, he gets involved in the sports book. Someone wants
they got a guy to bite for $250,000 right before, about 10 minutes before kickoff.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, the guy put $250,000 on Carolina.
Wow. I know that they had a big money line on Carolina. They were looking for Carolina money, and they got to give them the credit. You go down there and dump your suitcase out on the counter full of $100 bills. They're probably going to take it day of the game. I got to give them credit for that. They took a $3 million money line bet, so on a 14-point favorite. Well, listen, guys, thanks for tuning in. Always appreciate you guys subscribing, liking, commenting. I'm due to go in there and catch up the last 3 weeks with some comments, and I appreciate all you guys, and we always appreciate you. We'll see you next week on Wise Kracks. Thank you.